Well, good afternoon, guys, and welcome to a tentative part 2 of my 2025 Uinta Botany and Ecology tour. So let's just continue where we left off at and see what else we can find today. Now, just a couple of plants that I'm seeing above 10,000 feet now. We have this guy. This is Ipomopsis tenuituba. I guess it could be Ipomopsis aggregata, but I'm pretty sure it's tenuituba. It's a little hard to, I can't remember how to tell them apart exactly, they're a little tricky, but I'll put up the correct one later once I find it out. And this is Ivesia gordonii, or maybe I should say Potentilla gordonii, because I think the genus Ivesia has officially been moved into Potentilla, which doesn't really sit right with me, so I'm not sure I'm going to accept that quite yet until I look at the evidence closer. It's probably some genetic thing, but anyway, it's a cool plant. They're commonly called Mousetails, the members of the genus or former genus Ivesia, or Ivesia. I guess there's several ways to pronounce it, and it seems to do quite well at this altitude. You certainly see it at this altitude in the Wasatch a lot as well. But let's just carry on now. I think I'm starting to see more plants as I'm getting increasingly more north-facing in my aspect, which makes a lot of sense. Oh, look at this butterfly. Speaking of some of these plants, this I believe that this butterfly is on is Senecio triangularis. I'm not totally sure, but that's what I want to guess it is. It's got serrate leaves, but it's definitely not a Senecio sera. And yeah, it's found in the Wasatch, but definitely the Uintas as well. I think it's more abundant. Now I've also seen some of these Mertensia ciliatas, which shouldn't be that surprising, but it did take me a little bit by surprise. I see some really tall specimens too. I guess I normally associate them with mid-elevation forest rather than this almost tree-line level forest. Of course, there are some Geranium richardsonii. I think that's what it is. It could be viscosissimum, but the richardsonii is typically the white species of the two common, very similar geraniums you find in this part of the state. And I really need to talk about Achillea millefolium, more commonly known as Yarrow. I don't think I do, but I will anyways. Let's carry on. Another charming little pond cuts through this wet meadow. I see those pink things in the background. They might be a little bit hard to see, but I'm positive that is Pedicularis greenlandica. Now, this is a great example of when pronouncing Latin names as they're supposed to be is a good example, because it's spelled more like Groenlandica, which you should see when I put the little thing up. But it's definitely meant to be pronounced Greenlandica because there's no such thing as Groenland. Maybe Matt Groening land, I don't know. Of course, more about Veratrum californica. Still about 10,000 feet in elevation. So not much is going to grow here, but still nice to see just how pristine this water looks. I mean, I'd drink out of this. Some water striders. A little hard to zoom in, he's behind the grass. Let's carry on. I think there's another particular species I'll talk about here. Now, here's an example of the Pedicularis greenlandica, also known as elephant heads, up close. And it should have that common name for reasons that are pretty obvious. They look just like elephant heads, I mean without the tusks, but still, they even got little ears. One of my favorite wildflowers just because it looks so cool. I mean, Pedicularis generally look pretty interesting, but this takes the cake. Now I'm on the shore of this lake right here, and there are mayflies everywhere, which kind of creep me out, but I thought they were mosquitoes at first, so that's heaps better. Here, let's see if I can zoom in on something for you. Hang on, this is my watch. Ugh, they're getting my hair. It's a little bit creepy, but again, I don't mind them. Bugs are important for the ecosystem, for need to feed other animals, and they deserve to exist in their own right, even if they're a little bit creepy. Ugh, they're so ticklish too, and there's so many of them. I don't think this lake has an outlet, so it's a bit stagnant. So I carry on some more. Sorry I shook you guys a little bit too much there. It's kind of just necessary sometimes, and it's hard when I'm filming with a heavy camera. Beautiful wet meadow here. You can tell this place is not hiked very often. because this is barely even a trail, it seems. Walking amongst a bunch of Caltha leptosepala and some grasses and sedges. Of course, the Caltha leptosepala isn't in bloom right now, but that's all right. Yeah. Now this plant, I'm pretty sure is, whoa, I'll sit down for this. Bistorta bistortoides. No, sorry, Bistorta bistortoides, which is a member of the family Polygonaceae. I think some sources put it in the genus Polygonum, but it's kind of distinctive looking. It's very interesting, I think. Hopefully I'm right on that one, because there's a chance I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Very common here, all those little white flowers. Oh wow, I didn't realize how common. Okay, let's move on. Alright, now this is what I'm talking about. All this exposed rock we got. It's been a while since I've been on a habitat like this. I'm not even sure I've filmed on one quite like this before. So exposed, probably give it quartz monzonite or granite, but it could be something very different. Whatever it is, it was certainly an intrusive igneous rock that formed the Uintas. I wouldn't be surprised if it was related to the quartz monzonite of the Wasatch Mountains, like a little Cottonwood Canyon. Not saying that much I can talk about though, unfortunately. Just look at that view. America's pretty good sometimes. Can't deny that. I'm starting to think I possibly hiked up from that direction for my previous Uinta video. I can't remember for sure, but this does look a bit familiar. I'm gonna have to review the footage for that because that would just be hilarious. Here's another one I don't talk about too often. It's a species of paintbrush you can find in both the Wasatch and the Uintas. This is Castellegia appligatii. You can tell apart in a few ways. Firstly, look at the leaves. They're deeply cleft, especially the upper ones, and they are wavy at the margins. Might be a little hard to see the waviness, but it's definitely there. And secondly, it's quite sticky when you touch it. Very glandular. Less common than the other species of Castellegia I normally talk about, but still important. And this is Eucephalus engelmannii, which is very common. Pretty sure it is actually, but you see it all the time in the Wasatch. I've seen it all the time in the Uintas or all along this trail. So I just finally got around to talking about it. I'm trying to do different clips for the second video, if I am doing a second video and splitting it up. Talk about different species and the like. I'm getting close to the point where I want to turn back, but I'm not ready to yet. I know I can make a lot better time heading back because I won't be filming and stuff. It'll be mostly downhill. So I'm going to take some more time, but I'm getting towards the end for sure. Dang, this might be the rarest find of the day. Something Western family branded. It did fold, right? I can't remember if that brand folded. I thought they just made like corn syrup and stuff like that. I didn't realize they made water softener. There's a lake. Another one. This is Elk something or other lake. It's sort of a destination, but I'm going to go further if I can on this trail. Yeah, I definitely think this is not actually the same trail I took when I came up here the first time, but it did look very similar for a second. Right. Hope you guys don't mind me getting more landscape footage and just walking and talking rather than specifically focusing on plants. in this video. It's so stunning up here though. I definitely haven't been this way before. Just walked through an amazing field of like the Spiranthes, Roman Zophiana, and Pedicularis greenlandica. It's a little wonderful wet meadow on the lakeside. So glad I gotta come out here and see these things sometimes. There's lots of plants I'm choosing not to talk about because I can't ID them exactly. Like this is probably a species of Erigeron. Maybe the spreading fleabane, particular, whichever the scientific name for that is, but I just don't know because I haven't taken the time to, even though they're an important group out in the west, because they're very hard and I'm a bit intimidated. Oh man, it's partly cloudy weather, I tell you. Alright, now here's a species of Pedicularis I'm much more familiar with. This is Pedicularis racemosa. Brachiosa is the one I have seen here that I don't see in the Wasatch at all, but this one's fairly common in the Wasatch. What's interesting about all the Pedicularis is that they're parasites, not of fungi but of other plants, so they steal nutrients from their roots. So most of them, I think it's the genus Pedicularis, which is in the family Oroboncaceae, still does photosynthesize for the most part, but it's interesting that this plant, which is in the direct sunlight, is not very chlorophyllous, while this one is. So it's at least want to try and make an effort to photosynthesize if we can get them some extra nutrients, I guess. So they need to photosynthesize a little bit. That's interesting to me. Wow, it got dark all of a sudden. I am very close to turning back, and I probably will end the video once I find this last thing I'm looking for, which is this wetland. I'm gonna have to turn, hike all the way back, but I probably won't film any more clips on the way, but we'll see. I want to try and make it quick. But I think I have enough for a good 2-part series of videos. So that's a mission accomplished. Hopefully they don't turn out too terribly. Here's more of what I was talking about when I said that Vaccinium scoparium sometimes just blankets the ground. All those shrubs, like this right here, are Vaccinium scoparium. I mean, it's not even that thick right here. Well, it kind of is over there, but still, incredibly abundant plant out here that produces berries that are delicious, from what I've been told. So, very appreciable plant, I suppose. I'm seeing a lot of this as well, this Rubus idaeus, which might actually be a different species because Rubus idaeus might just be the European raspberry, but these are raspberry bushes. So they produce delicious fruit as well. Of course, they're members of the rose family, Rosaceae. Oh, I've been seeing a lot of these too. That's obviously just Erythronium grandiflorum that's gone to seed. You see them very low down in elevation, like down to 5,000 feet in my area, but also all the way up to the tree line, so very dominant, wide range species. Okay, I'm almost at my destination. And here's the wet meadow I was talking about, full of a few of the plants I already talked about, but also all the grasses and sedges I've neglected to learn, but will one day. How amazing. You don't really get this kind of habitat in the Wasatch. I mean, you get wet meadows, but not like this. Alright, thanks for watching and see you next time, guys. And just look at that. A dead tree becomes a surface for new life to grow upon. Nature's amazing, isn't it? I wonder though These are actually just, wow, is that living from the just new trees? I think it might have been new shoots for a little bit from the tree, but I think they're new plants because obviously this thing's very well dead. They're sort of past their prime, but look at all this pedicularis green landica we got. Shame we're not fully in bloom right now, but I just want to come back here early in the year sometimes. Here's a more up-close look of that lily pad pond I was talking about. Once again, that is Nuphar polysepala. I forgot, I'm doing this in 2 videos. Yeah, this is the species is Nuphar polysepala.